Crash course on modern history of petroleum, oil, and top 12 rich oil countries. The modern history of petroleum, also known as oil, began in the late 19th century and has since had a profound impact on the global economy and international politics. In this crash course, we will explore the major events and trends that have shaped the history of petroleum. In the late 1800s, petroleum was first discovered in the United States, and the subsequent boom in oil production led to the creation of major oil companies such as Standard Oil. The development of new technologies, such as drilling and refining techniques, made it possible to extract and process oil on a massive scale, leading to a surge in demand for this valuable resource. During the early 20th century, oil production became increasingly important to national economies and international relations. In World War I, the control of oil reserves played a significant role in military strategy, and the Treaty of Versailles included provisions for the redistribution of oil resources in the Middle East. In the decades that followed, the global demand for oil continued to rise, with the growth of the automobile industry and the expansion of air travel. The discovery of large oil reserves in the Middle East, particularly in Saudi Arabia, transformed the region into a major player in the global oil industry. The control of oil resources also became a central issue in Cold War politics, with the United States and the Soviet Union vying for influence over oil-producing nations in the Middle East and elsewhere. The 1973 oil embargo, in which Arab nations cut off oil supplies to the United States and other countries in response to their support for Israel in the Yom Kippur War, highlighted the vulnerability of the global economy to disruptions in the oil supply. In recent years, the increasing demand for renewable energy sources and concerns about climate change have raised questions about the future of the oil industry. However, oil remains a vital resource for many nations and continues to play a major role in the global economy and international relations. One of the most fascinating stories in the history of petroleum is the story of the oil boom in Texas in the early 20th century. In the early 1900s, a young geologist named Portillo Higgins became convinced that there was oil beneath the soil of Texas, despite widespread skepticism from other experts. Higgins formed a company and began drilling, and in 1901, his team struck oil at Spindletop, near Beaumont, Texas. The gusher that resulted from this discovery produced an astounding 100,000 barrels of oil per day, and the subsequent oil boom transformed the economy of Texas and helped to establish the United States as a major player in the global oil industry. Another interesting story is the role that oil played in the Arab-Israeli conflicts of the 20th century. During the 1960s and 1970s, tensions between Israel and its Arab neighbors were heightened by disputes over control of oil resources in the Middle East. The 1973 oil embargo, in which Arab nations cut off oil supplies to the United States and other countries, was intended to pressure Israel's allies to withdraw their support. In response, the United States and other Western nations began to explore alternative sources of oil, such as North Sea oil and the oil sands of Canada. Finally, the development of hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, has transformed the oil industry in recent years. This technique, which involves injecting water and chemicals into rock formations to release oil and gas, has made it possible to extract oil from previously inaccessible sources such as shale rock. While fracking has led to a surge in oil production in the United States, it has also been criticized for its environmental impact and its contribution to climate change. Here are the top 12 countries in the world with the largest proven oil reserves, listed in descending order from the largest to the smallest. 1. Venezuela. Venezuela has the world's largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 303.2 billion barrels. The country's economy is heavily dependent on oil exports. 2. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has the second largest proven oil reserves in the world, with an estimated 266.5 billion barrels. The country is the world's largest oil exporter and plays a significant role in global oil markets. 3. Canada. Canada has the third largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 169.7 billion barrels. Much of Canada's oil is produced from oil sands in Alberta. 4. Iran. Iran has the fourth largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 158.4 billion barrels. The country is a major oil exporter, but its oil industry has been subject to international sanctions in recent years. 5. Iraq. Iraq has the fifth largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 143.1 billion barrels. The country's oil industry has been impacted by decades of conflict and instability. 6. Kuwait. Kuwait has the sixth largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 101.5 billion barrels. The country is a major oil exporter and has significant investments in international oil companies. 7. United Arab Emirates. The UAE has the 7th largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 97.8 billion barrels. The country is a major oil producer and exporter, with a significant presence in global oil markets. 8. Russia. Russia has the 8th largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 80 billion barrels. The country is a major oil producer and exporter, but its oil industry has been impacted by international sanctions in recent years. 9. Libya. Libya has the 9th largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 48.4 billion barrels. The country's oil industry has been impacted by political instability and conflict in recent years. 10. Nigeria. Nigeria has the 10th largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 37.1 billion barrels. The country is a major oil producer and exporter, but its oil industry has been subject to disruption from militant groups and oil theft. 11. United States. The United States has the 11th largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 36.5 billion barrels. The country is a major oil producer, particularly in states such as Texas, North Dakota, and Alaska. The discovery and development of shale oil and gas resources have transformed the energy landscape in the U.S. in recent years. 12. China. China has the 12th largest proven oil reserves, with an estimated 16.3 billion barrels. The country has seen rapid growth in energy demand over the past few decades, and is now the world's largest consumer of oil. China has made significant investments in oil-producing countries in Africa and elsewhere in order to secure access to oil resources. It's worth noting that proven oil reserves can change over time as new discoveries are made and as technology improves, and that the estimate of proven reserves is not a guarantee of actual production. Additionally, other factors such as political instability, conflict, and environmental concerns can impact the ability to extract and export oil from these reserves. In conclusion, the world's oil reserves are not evenly distributed, with a small number of countries holding the vast majority of proven oil reserves. These countries have significant influence over global oil markets, and their economies are often heavily dependent on oil exports. However, the global energy landscape is rapidly evolving, with increasing focus on renewable energy and a shift away from fossil fuels. As such, the future of the oil industry and the economies of countries with significant oil reserves are likely to be shaped by a range of complex factors, including technological innovation, changing energy policies, and global efforts to address climate change. Here is a poem on oil. Black gold beneath the earth. A substance of untold worth. Fuel for machines and modern life. The source of conflict and strife. A liquid treasure from the past. A product of time that couldn't last. But still we draw it from the earth. A resource that defines our worth. From the desert sands to Arctic cold. Its value remains as old as gold. A commodity that fuels our world. A substance that keeps us unfurled. The pipelines that stretch across the land are monuments to our demand for this precious liquid that we need, a substance that allows us to succeed. Yet as we burn it day by day, our planet slowly fades away. And so we search for new supplies, a way to keep our world alive. For oil is not a never-ending source, and we must find a new recourse to power the future we all seek, and find a way to make our world less bleak. So let us cherish this black gold, but not forget its price untold, and seek new ways to fuel our life, without causing conflict or strife. We hope this video has given you a taste of all the incredible experiences Canada has to offer. If you're ready to start planning your own adventure to Canada, please ensure to use our Booking.com referral link, https://www.booking.com/index.html?8 = 7989335 to book your flights, hotels, car rentals, local attractions, and more. It's an easy and kind way to support this channel and make sure you get the best possible deals on your trip. Thank you. AnHub Metaverse team at Vancouver, Canada, CA.